Are you living the Delaware Beach lifestyle? You can't live at the beach and do nothing. This up-and-coming year-round area has lots to offer. Find out where to eat, play.
Hey guys, welcome to the 302 Lifestyle Beach Podcast. Today, I have the 302 Lifestyle sharing with you some tips and tricks on business. I have been blessed. Daisy and I actually got to fly to Phoenix, and we love to go to different places a few times a year. We have some coaching going on where we learn things, learn how to become better leaders, better people in our lives. And it's always good to just learn from people that are have gone through something. Well, in this particular case, we have already been through a lot of the programs and systems and processes that we've learned to improve our business. And we got a chance to sit in front of, I think like 30 to 50 other business owners and share with them some things that have worked for us. And I thought you guys might be interested since a lot of you guys are business owners or have experienced something like this in your life. And so here's the opportunity to see what has worked and not worked in our cleaning company. So stay tuned, guys. Here's a clip now.
You were gracious enough to share your story with Tammy and I. And the debt level is something that I'm interested in knowing. Bob, if you could give your perspective, and you can jump in, please, because it was very endearing. But how did you tackle and I don't know if that's a huge amount of debt to you. I think you said something like $165,000. That's a big number to me too. And we're familiar with those kind of numbers. But so if you could share with us your story and how, obviously it didn't evaporate or go away overnight. How did you chip away with it? What was the plan? And obviously plan A usually doesn't work. When did you adjust? How did you adjust? And then to have the success that you're having now.
Well, I think what we had shared was that when we bought this business from my parents, we were at the bottom hole. So then we bought into a business that was even further. So it was like, and I remember the accountant and lawyer, I remember telling you that they looked at the numbers and the accountant was in the business, the same accountant who said, don't raise prices, whatever, or said any piece of pie is better. And they're like, run the other way. This thing's a mess. And it was my mother and my parents. And we want to retire to Florida, please.
Can I share, I think you shared on Monday what your mom said about so again, they bought this thing. It's a cancer. Their accountant, who's a knucklehead, but he was writing this one, run the other way. This thing was a mess every which way you look at it. Her mom had the audacity to say, we gave you the goose that laid the golden egg. So she thought this crap ton of a business was so these guys come in and take this absolute, pardon my language, shit show and turn it into this beautiful thing. And the audacity of anyone to go, I gave you this horrible lump of crap. You make it into a diamond. I'm like, well, sure. Look at the coal I gave you. It's like, so that's the background we're coming from. And this is a sociopath that raised this poor human being. So just know that that's where we're at. Go ahead.
That's why I have all this baggage. No. So yeah, I had shared with you how Bob's prior business had, gone away. And so we were looking at, I hate debt. And paying interest to me, that's just like, why am I giving money away? My hard-earned money away. So Bob, tell him your answer when the accountant said, how long it's going to take you to pay off these credit cards that my parents had, we bought everything. We just took over everything.
The goose, the golden egg, all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And some of these credit cards were 20% interest every month. And the accountant said, do you know how much you're going to pay? Do you know how long this is going to take you to pay it off? And what did you say?
I said, you don't know my wife, Nancy.
So, I think I shared with you that, we both working the business because we're a woman-owned business. So I had to take a paycheck, but I paid him only $50. He got $100 a month, and I took the rest of that and just started chipping away at that debt. I look back and I can only thank God because we look back and we're like, I don't know how we did it. How are we not homeless? How are we, how do we really I owed my daughters, I owed, our own personal finances. I owed I don't know. I how do you think we did it? It was just chipping away, just small. I think what helped too is I had to fire my brother. So then I got his income. That was tough. So there were two family members of a brother and a sister who had worked in the company as well. And both of them were upset that they weren't given the goose that lays the golden egg. But anyway, my stepsister actually quit, left a note on my desk saying I'm done, and then joined forces with someone else and started stealing our customers, writing letters to send out letters. Oh, listen, I'm going to write a book someday. But podcast. There's my first podcast. Yeah.
I would listen the crap out of that podcast.
But it was basically just chipping away. And if I could have raised prices, if I would have known back then, that debt would have paid off much faster. But it took, I think it was about 3 years that it took us to get back up to zero. But, I've seen the bottom and I don't ever want to go back there.
So let me give my thoughts on that. And it's very typical, and please, no judgment, just an observation, because it happens every time. And I want the rest of us to be able to see it, because when it's not us, it's so clear, right? We ask, what did you do? Yeah. And Terry, wanting to help as much as she can, she said, here's who I was. Did you guys catch that? You had a bunch of debt. How'd you pay it off so fast? And he's looking for, we looked at the amortization table, and here was a thing. And Terry can't even remember. It's not, she's certainly not trying to hide anything from me, just because it wasn't what was important. And she said, Bob, what did he say? She goes, you don't know who my wife is. Yes. So it drives me nuts. And you guys get this at the elite level. They're like, tell me what to do. And we try and tell them what to do, but we try and sneak in, here's who you have to be, which is the real answer. And they go, so do I do this first or that first? And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you've got that mindset. So I want everyone, there's a couple guys at the Megan, and you guys were like, I'm not sure about, we've got outside circumstances on the next level. We're not sure. And I go, that has nothing to do with anything. It's who you decide to be and how you show up is everything. And we just decide. So I'm not putting any words in your mouth, listen to them. But what I heard you say is, I decided I'm not going to live like this. And then everything else, I just figured out the hell out.
Yes. Yeah. And it was chipping it away. It wasn't like I got some big windfall. Yay, it's done. It was.
And even if she could recount for you exactly step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, had that not happened, the brother not quit and the other one not fired or whatever, then you would have gone to plan B. And then if that wouldn't work, you would have gone to plan C. So she could tell you how she did it. It doesn't matter, because had that not worked, she'd have done the next thing. And the next thing. The one thing that is universal is she said, I can't live. I love that Bob knew. He's like, oh, you don't know this lady. I know this lady, and I know what she's about and how she believes. The debt will be gone.
Yeah, well, for years before, we had seen his business do this. So, I got a job at night, even though we had the business. You were doing work on the side. There was a lot of things that went into it. But
what's the name of your business?
Tenacious.
Oh, yeah, that's
but
right.
I did not name it, though. I can't take that credit.
You
but
may
it's
not have
so
named it, but you
perfect.
earned it. Yeah. Did you say earned it? Yeah. Excellent question, Team Kalis.
Just so you don't think we're too crazy, on a more positive note, I probably pushed harder to buy the business because I look at the glass as whatever. She's half empty, I'm half full, I don't know. But I said, no, it's got good bones. We've got some good employees. It has a good name. There's a lot of good accounts. So just so you don't think we're totally insane. And we were a little insane. We were too dumb to know we were insane. Yeah. But the good thing, the positive thing that came out of that, and I wasn't in Mike's course, so I didn't understand core values. And like Jason was talking about, the importance of core values, because that's, if anyone asked what our aha moment, that was core values. It's just, it answers so many of the problems and sins and things that happen in your business. But it was interesting, if I look backward, I had to do a lot of things in, my background, probably I liked to remodel. So this business, I looked at private remodeling project. So when I had to go in, we found all kinds of weird things, like ghost employees we found out, and supervisors sleeping in the closets who should be working, or they're embezzling, selling our chemicals out the back door to another company, or just weird things.
If anyone thinks your business sucks, maybe it's not bad. Could be worse.
My business is different. Theirs was actually really different.
Yeah, we actually bought that.
We paid for that. paid American money for that.
Right. But the upside that did come out of it, and I didn't understand it until probably now that I got involved in Mike's teaching or coaching, is so I had to, like, for one example, this will tell you. So we had a school that they were supposed to be cleaning. I showed up to school just to check on it, do a QC. We had some issues and the lights are all off. And I'm like, come on, where are the lights? They're supposed to be here. This is really weird. So I waited around. I left for an hour, went and got something to eat, came back. No, lights are still off. Then I went back. About a half hour later, all of a sudden the lights were back on and there was more cars in the parking lot. I go, what's going on? Well, they're trying to tell me that they were in there working the whole time. They really scanned in the system. And I said, when it was dark, that's what I said. And they go, oh yeah, we're saving the school money. I go, are you kidding me? So then I looked at their time cards. That's in the day of punching time cards. And they were doctoring, you punch it in, you got the ink stamp. They were taking an ink pen, not even necessarily the same color, and just changing the number to make it look like, come on, guys, really? So I called them on it, and I probably make a longer story than I need to on this, but the problem with that is I called them out on it, and of course they denied it.
Wait,
and I said,
let me finish the story. So he made a perfect owner's manual, an operations manual, and he gave it to them, and everything was solved.
Right.
Did I get it? Am I close?
Right. Not that I'm against employee handbooks. I'm really not. I'm for them, but Mike's right. So I ended up saying, you know what? We're not going to resolve this. The whole crew is terminated. And of course, then the one guy who was kind of the ringleader, there's always a ringleader. There's always one that's instigating the rest of them.
Daisy. Sorry.
Yeah, Daisy's good example. But he gets up, he goes, oh yeah, I don't know, hate to do this, but I hurt my knee. I hurt my knee, and I didn't tell you 2 weeks ago, so you're going to have a workman's comp claim. I'm going to sue you. I said, all right, well, just so you know, insurance fraud is a felony. And I said, I'm not an insurance agent. I have insurance, so you'll have to take that up and we'll address that. And so that was the negative part. Now, the upside is I'm thinking, I just fired the whole crew out of a school that has to be cleaned. Because this isn't a time where cash flow is not doing great. So I'm going to clean it myself. In my mind, I was at that mindset. And I guess if my old self mindset was just think, I'll just do it myself. It takes all night. I'll do it. Well, it's amazing how fast things spread. And this is how you found out about core values. And I didn't know about core values, but all of a sudden I'm getting phone calls from some of the other schools that we were cleaning, and they're coming, I'll come over and help you out. They don't even know me because we had just taken over the business. We were all of a sudden just getting rid of all this garbage. And so these people they knew these people were bad, and it showed and they knew it, and they stepped right up. And I got to say, yes, I had to terminate a lot of people. Yes, there was a lot of negative stuff that went on, but there was a lot of positive stuff that comes on because your employees, if you have a bad apple, it really does spoil the whole bunch if you leave it. I mean, they really, I think there's a song about that or something. But anyway, and I'm not going to sing, Daisy can sing that. But anyway, so it does make a big difference. Core values really came out before I knew about core values. Even though I had core values, I just didn't put it all together, I guess. So anyway, sorry for the long story.
No, that's the point I wanted to make. It's so funny. It's like, I didn't know core values, but if I could put words in your mouth, I couldn't articulate the value of core values,
right.
But you can see they came into this cancerous goose with a lead egg, and they were just them, and they didn't know, they couldn't articulate, so hopefully we helped you do it, and you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was the aha moment, when I was like, oh. When we went over that module, we're like, oh.
Yeah, that was the first module. We looked at each other, okay, that explains
everything, all our problems.
But the cool thing is that innately they were doing some of it, right? The reason that other people came partly was they were charitable human beings, but a lot of it was they resonated already. So you guys were doing
we have some core value people.
You saw the law at work. You just didn't. We just described the law. You're like, oh, that's why that happened or didn't happen.
But it does help going forward because now every time I look at all my problems and say, well, what do I trace it back to? Whether it's a hiring issue or a supervisor that isn't doing something or whatever the conflict might be, it usually does come back to a core value match or non-match, depending on how you do it. So anyway, sorry if I took too much.
No, that was really good. All right. We can go in the room, but I feel like we skipped online. Lindsay, do you need someone or no? We have someone?
Yes, Denise has a question.
All right, Denise, ask the question to the backs of the heads of the folk.
I'll talk to anything.
Lovely cat, looks like you just got in from gardening.
Well, I had to wear my hat. So Yeah, did any of you have a long lag after starting the program before things really took off? I'm seeing everything coming together in the bits and pieces, but I'm starting to feel a little impatient and kind of scared. So I was wondering if anybody else was at that point ever.
Love that question.
Yeah, we've been doing it for 7 months. We have no problems. Everything's perfect. It goes unbelievable. Daisy, why don't you tell me about your story?
Yeah, it's been 3 years and we're just figuring it out.
What was the question? What was the question?
Did any of you guys, after joining the program, have a lag before where you're like, holy, Dylan just looked at me like I'm insane. Like, yeah, Dylan's homeless, by the way, just so you know. Couldn't pay his bills. Did you have a lag or fear? Like, oh, this isn't going to work or it's not happening fast enough. Am I doing your question justice, Denise?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I just feel like I'm really getting hung up on some of the steps. Like with me, it's employees, and I can't reasonably bring in more work if I can't get employees in here that are going to do a good job. Because why am I going to market a bunch of stuff and go out and do crap work or have crap employees working for me? So just that process is very slow, and I'm trying really hard to fire everybody that Mike tells me to, and I am succeeding. But it's just a slow process, and I'm kind of scared.
I'm going to give you a quick story because you're a grandma. I feel like I'm a grandfather because I've got my kids, and some of them are older than me, giving the knowing look, like, oh boy. So it's great to, instead of me doing it, Dylan would have been here with me at some point in the past, and now he's looking like, oh boy, I got this. So I'm excited to hear these guys coach.
Yeah, so I kind of heard in their stories too how it's easy to look at, a ladder up, looking at somebody on top of a roof, and you want to be there. And I think looking at the modules, when I was going through the module system, it was like, it was frustrating because we already had systems and processes, but then we realized that a lot of them needed fixed or removed or, entirely new things done, like hiring. We had really bad employees, all that stuff. But I had to really learn, and Daisy kind of brought this up about not attaching yourself to all these things. And then looking at baby steps, so, oh my gosh, I don't have enough work. I have too many employees. I have too many employees, or I have too much work and not enough employees. And just realizing that, you're going to come into those situations no matter what you do. But just taking little baby steps and treating the business as a business that is designed to serve you in your life. And what I had to do was say, okay, I accept that I'm going to have all these issues and problems. And when I went through the module system, it was literally, I just did version 1.0 of each thing as I could do it in the time frame I could do it in. And then I heard some other people saying, okay, I got to go back through and do version 2.0. And that's literally all we did. And, we came across the same issues. We have too many employees or not enough work or too much work and not enough employees. And the nice thing is that it's just cleaning. No one's life is at risk. There's no big thing that, if you don't do this, someone's going to die or something. There is none of that. So I had to separate my personal emotions of, oh my gosh, I am responsible for these people's lives, and say, okay, I don't have enough work. Sorry, guys. You know what? And then just look at your employees. You're a C, you're a B, you're an A. You're, not in a judgmental way, but you are serving my customer, or you are serving this business and this customer the best. You are, and just start going down the list, and eventually you'll have a system that it self-governs itself. Mm-hmm. Now our employees do all of that stuff, and we've been blessed to attract, great employees. But in the beginning, when we ran into these issues you're talking about, it was separating the emotional side of all that stuff and just taking baby steps. Step one is asking someone for help. So on the calls or all the stuff you're doing, ask Mike, do help tickets, do whatever you need to do to find out a baby step to take, and literally just take small steps, removing the emotion behind it. If you don't have enough work, you have too many employees, get rid of the bad apples, step one. Step two would be, I don't know, start those baby steps, remove the emotion from it, and don't think that you're responsible for these people's lives. They're grown-ups,
they can go get a second job. They can do whatever they need to do. Or if you have too much work and not enough, tell the people that you want to work for, hey, I don't have enough of this right now. I'm sorry. Don't like put yourself in a situation where you feel like this is going to be life or death. I don't know if anybody else has.
Before we move on, how long did it take you to kind of go from systems that weren't working consistently to, I'm assuming, you can correct me if I'm wrong, systems that were working inconsistently when we started working together? It's not like you went from this isn't working to this is perfect. I'm guessing you went from this is working better, but it's still a little wonky to where you're like, we are good. This is locked. We don't have to worry about cleaning ever.
It's about a year.
Wow.
To be honest. I mean, I think it was probably about 3 to 6 months was oh my gosh, I made a lot of progress,
I think part of that too is our resistance to the program. Like, we're always like, what's he talking about? Like, it's not going to work. Like, we're going to do it this way, and then, that didn't work. And then we go back to your program, and then, that's why it took a while.
there is a lot of, that's not going to work. We'll try it this way. And then getting that result. And then finally kind of like giving up, doing and going, well, shit, I should have started there. So what I hear you saying.
Can I say something to, I have to tell you, you really helped me, probably not in the way that you expected to, but I started the program in October, so it has been, I'm between that 3 to 6 month mark. But all the things that you're saying, in my mind, I'm checking them off. Like, okay, yep, I got rid of the toxic employees. Yep, I got rid of the mindset that they need to work 40 hours and I'm the one to put food on their table. And I'm just checking these boxes and all these things that you're telling me, don't do this, don't do this. And I'm like, yep. So I guess you're just reaffirming to me that, okay, my bank account is not showing the progress, but it's there. I need the bank account to show it, but like the foundation is being built. So thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I love that. And that you're exactly right. And I would love because there may be other people in the room. Do you guys have any response? I'm sure all of you at one time or another were like, I see progress, but it's because we work on a lot of stuff, right? Because it's not just the money. There's, like we talked about, the core values and our lifestyle and what we do and how much we like our business and how comfortable we feel and the stability and the scalability and my revenue, but maybe not my profit. So there's lots of facets. I would love if any of you are willing to share a time of, I felt that, obviously you wouldn't be here if you're like, this is a scam, nothing's working. Obviously you would quit. So you're like, I feel like I'm in with that. I think this is what Denise, I feel like I'm doing well and I'm making some big progress. But at some point I got to write some money's got to come in the bank and I'm freaking out a little. Is that fair, Denise? I don't want to speak for you.
Nailed it.
Okay. I'm sure you guys have all had that. If anyone's willing to share. And that was Daisy and Dylan, by the way, Denise, that just shared.
Okay.
Dylan liked it so well, he's going twice. Oh, no. This is Alonzo. He doesn't speak English, so you're going to have to listen in Spanish if that's okay.
¿Hablas español?
No habla.
Oh, okay. So, and my take it is like if I understand correctly, you asking if you have a hard time even though if you applying all the systems, right?
He's asking.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. When I get to that point, like I feel like I'm doing every single step that Mike is telling me to follow, and I see my wall is still the same. I go back to don't work and how to say that, like stressed out, like I can grow, I cannot do this or I cannot do that. What I've been trying to do is just like work in the systems and look at the system that I have and what life that I live right now, because right now I'm here and the business is still running. So I think like I'm making a lot of money because I'm not doing anything. Everything is running. And eventually, if I keep working on the systems, it's going to improve and it's going to grow somehow because we follow the steps, baby steps at a time. And right now, thankfully, I'm very blessed because I'm this morning having an issue in the business and I don't even know. The guy that's in charge fix it. And I just received the news like, hey, everything is fixed. Everything is running pretty smooth. So it's just working, knowing the goals, have the goals, but working more most of the time in the systems, because the systems will get you where you want, but know where you're going to go. And yes, sometimes you feel like I'm doing a lot of stuff and nothing is happening. But if you look back and it's like, wow, I have everything in place, eventually it's going to kick in. And right now we are doing the podcast and It's getting a lot of people engaged little by little, but I think it's going to explode. So that's my take.
So I'm hearing a couple things for the group, and Alonzo, like I said, if I say anything that you didn't mean, correct me. I hear him saying, and it's so funny because I did the same thing. So I'm like, yes, that's exactly the process I went through. Is I took 2 steps forward, 1 step back, throughout business. One is we get so emotional, and Kim said it earlier. Like I went from, you get an email from a client that's pissed, and we take like, I must be a bad person, or my business sucks, or we extrapolate it into a bunch of things that are just not the truth. And it served me to just go, that's not the truth. I've got hundreds of happy clients. This guy's a nutball. Or maybe we did mess up, and we'll fix it. And maybe he'll still hate us, and I'll just have to get on with my life. So step one is kind of, especially when it comes to hiring and money, we let the panic creep in, and we at some point got to go, these are the true facts. And I'm going to suspend all this nonsense that I would have done a long time ago of I'm crazy, nothing's going to work, it's another false hope or something like that. So the first thing I heard was separate the emotion from the reality. And the second thing I heard is trust the systems and it sounds like you're doing a great job of this. I'm just going to take a step forward. And if I'd like to see the end goal, and it's kind of funny when we get to the end goal, sometimes we forget and we're like, oh, I was just here. This isn't as good as I thought. But if we look back a year ago, we're like, holy crap, that's why I love these events. We can go 4 months ago, seems like it was a long time ago. It doesn't seem like that much has changed, but we start not forcing you, but encouraging you to be like, how many hours are you working? How much money are you making? Where's your revenue? You're like, holy crap, it's a wall of difference. So I'm hearing 2 things. Don't let the emotion get you and let panic set in when there is no panic. 2, continue following the system. And 3, make sure you're checking the boxes of, well, just like you did. I used to have a cancerous employee and that's gone. So that's a step forward, but it doesn't make any money. That's for not today. It will, but today's not going to help you any. So did I do an okay job of? Okay, I did. And Alonzo said I did marvelous, just in case you couldn't hear. And now you got Daisy, so you got some real firepower here.
I just wanted to add another thing too, that he's got like Mike's got, or Grow My Cleaning Company has the modules and things that we should be following. But you guys have to remember that there's so much more within that. There's a community, and you can ask each other for help. This is how we get anything, is we're actually asking each other for, after the calls with Mike, a lot of times we're, in our own little, box or.
It's a good thing I'm not there. I don't have so much ego that can handle it.
But we share like a lot of our processes too. So, don't be afraid to share whatever it is you guys are going through, good or bad.
Always.
That's an excellent idea. And I will be sitting up there with you guys one of these days. I guarantee you that. And I'll be up there.
All right. Nice job. And I want to encourage you guys. That is a big deal. I should emphasize that more often. The combined brain power of this room dwarfs my tiny little brain. So just because I'm up here yakking, there's some value there. But I promise you, the value in the group is just far extends anything any one human, certainly this human, can be. So that's Daisy. Really, I could say that every week. It probably wouldn't be too frequently. Okay, I want to make sure we're gonna do role playing after the break, and I want to make sure we don't wear you guys the heck out. So we're gonna either do 0 to 1 questions and let these guys sum up and do the break. So the last question shall be our Bulgarian friend. Bulgarian, right? All right. I want to make sure I got it right. Go ahead, buddy.
What would be the most important advice you can give on building a great culture, and maybe 1, 2 practical things that make the most impact?
Very solid question, by the way.
What's that?
Number 1 thing to build the most culture, and maybe some practical ideas.
Well, so core value is number 1, right? You have to find that first. And then outside of that, what we actually do our 3rd Friday monthly hangouts, and we do it regardless of who shows up or not. Like it's scheduled. We have a ton of fun with them. We do huddles in the morning. We don't do it all the time, but when I'm there and they're all there, I huddle with them for 5 to 7 minutes. I think that might be too long.
5 to 7, we're good.
Yeah.
Do you do that in person or like over Zoom or phone calls or?
We do it in person.
Monday. With the Monday meeting.
Oh, yeah. So we have monthly meetings, team meetings, first Monday of every month. And we do that in person, except this Monday we'll be in Mexico. So we'll be doing that on Zoom. And then we have every third Friday hangouts and the huddles. That's what we do for.
And like what I noticed too is whatever you focus on grows, you know? So we used to have this, I love this thing because we used to have a good and a bad board. So all the complaints, we'd print them out, we put all the complaints out, and then all the good stuff, you know, we put out. It was kind of mixed, you know, but
Mike actually told us, take that bad shit out.
Yeah, why are we putting that up and focusing on it?
Yeah. And, you know, people don't know they're doing good unless you tell them, you know, and I think if you focus on good stuff, it got to the point where the board was just overflowing with like good stuff, you know, and sometimes we'll catch ourselves like the reviews are huge. Like that transformed our whole business. So reviews, monthly hangouts, a meeting, brag alerts. But the most important thing I think was just recognizing positivity. Instead of having a meeting every day and talking about all the complaints, well, this person called in here and they complained and you guys need to do better. Focus on the good stuff. And I think when you do, it's just like, I don't have any kids, so it's easier for me to say this, but you focus on like good stuff and children, they say every one negative thing you say, you have to say 3 positive things. It's because your brain actually is developed to handle 2/3 more negativity than positive. So it's, you know, for us, I just learned, man, just focusing on positive stuff, the good qualities in people, you know, your core values, and just constantly emulating that. Not saying our core values are this, this, and this, but just be that, you know. Mike really just drilled that into us, and naturally you will attract that. It's no different than all of us. You know, we talk to each other, we're all similar. It's because Mike, man, he's that. So he attracts all that into his life. So that's it.
And one thing I want you guys to get, hopefully all of you have been through all of the training. So some of the things Dylan and Daisy were going, oh, I heard that in the training. And hopefully you notice 3 or 4 things have nothing to do with me. Because I didn't say, have a hangout and do this. That was their picture of, we get the concepts. And that doesn't mean Jason and Kim need to be like, oh, we're gonna do the same thing. Because it's not, it's how they do it. So what I really like is we all have the same, we gotta have core values, we gotta live them. How Daisy and Dylan execute on that, it looks very different than how we do it. It looks very different how you do it. So I don't want you guys to be like exactly what Mike does and that's it. More of like, I get why Mike does it and how it looks in Mike's personality and that works for him. And here's how it's going to look for me. So I want you guys to get, as you hear these stories, especially you guys, since you asked the questions, it's going to look very different for them. So you don't have to be like, oh, I have to look like Daisy and Dylan. You certainly don't. The concepts of we have core values and we live them really strong, for sure. But I want you guys to go, how does that look like for us? Does that make sense? Excellent. Share. Who's up?
Me, again, Mike. Well, the way that we don't have a very good culture yet, but the way that I've been kind of studying more the reaction to them to care about me is me caring about them. And it's like, what is the thing that they don't teach us in school? It's about money, right? So I talked to the financial guy to kind of teach me how to I implement that to them, because if most of the time people that work in our level, they don't have savings, they don't have a plan for retirement, they don't even know how to, well, they might be but they don't know how to have the savings just in case if the work goes away, and they have like 2 or 3 months in the savings to cover their bills, and they don't have to worry about like, oh shoot, I don't have a place to live because I don't pay the
really
bills.
Quick, what are your core values?
I don't know, Mike. No, I'm just kidding.
Every time busting balls.
Be real, be friendly, work hard, helping out, have fun.
Be real, be friendly, work hard, help out, and have fun.
Yep.
So by the way, you hear how I was concerned, Alonzo was concerned about how to save money. And I wanted to make sure I helped my employees. So I was real about my weakness and I got stronger, and I really wanted to help out my employees. I just love how that is a perfect example of his core values so he did a great job of, here's what we're doing, but I want you to see how it connects with the core values. So it wouldn't be like, everybody write down, help your people get financially literate, right? Like that's a fine idea, but it's so Alonzo, because that's who he is. Like I have not met his employees, but I guarantee if I flew out there, I know him and I know Caitlin, they would all be sweet and kind and loving and helpful. And Team Jim have an amazing culture. Their employees are great. It would be nothing like Alonzo's and Kim's. So these are super personal.
So that's it, buddy. He just killed my moment.
Every time Alonzo speaks, I'm like, no, spotlight for me.
But really just like, it's like the other side, like the attracting clients. You focus so much on like how you be so professional, how all of that stuff, but really what they care is about how we can solve the problem to them. And it's the same thing the other side, how that you can help them besides like paying them big money, because like Mike say, you throw money to the fire and it might be solve the problem. But sometimes, in my humble opinion, Mike, you can yell at me, but sometimes they don't need money. They need somebody to, the mindset is so powerful that there's no money they can take it. If you fix your mindset, I think you can fly anywhere. But if you don't right in your mindset, you're going to be still the same.
I'm always looking at the tech guy, make sure when I say drop the mic, he's not going to come punch me. We're good. Gently set the mic down. Less effect, but.
Culture-wise, that's kind of what I love to do. That's the fun part for me. I like the fun things. So we just we have monthly, well, we've gone to semi-monthly eat and greets where we just cater it, have tons of prizes, raffles, kids, the whole family comes. Then they go to work if they have to go to work afterwards or like whatever. We have Christmas parties, summer bashes. I don't know. We just love on it. We just love on our employees. They come with problems. We bought car batteries for them. We bought whatever. So they've come to us and sat down, and it's just like, we've bought tennis shoes for them before. Whatever they need, it's just like, nobody ever does this. Who does this? It's like, this should be the norm. This should be how people care for their employees. So
funny. I'm always giving Kim a hard time is the Millionaire Mastermind. And now Terry's kind of fighting her for the job. So it used to be Kim's only, but now we got a little match going on. Sure. They share. See, of course, they're sweet. Why wouldn't they? So I'm always giving her a hard time for being the grandma, and I always think it's so sweet that she's so caring. And I just got like, holy crap! And I jokingly said, "Are you adopting? I would love you to be my grandma." And I had a great grandma, but when I was a kid, oh my gosh, if Kim would have been my grandmother, I would have been like nuts. Like, oh my gosh, I want to go see grandma. Like, my son is like, that's the guy. No, he knows Jason. He's like, that's the guy that chases me. Like, they're just such grandparents. And as a 46-year-old man asking a similarly aged Kim to adopt me as her grandson, I realized that feeling that I have towards her, everybody wants to be a part of that, right? Like what her employees might not say, adopt me as your grandma, but they do. And being part of that, maybe David's he's not in their same area and competing for the same employees. He has no chance. Just like Alonzo said, maybe they pay $12 an hour and David's like, haha, I'll pay 15. That'll get it. To have me leave my family, my grandma, you got no chance. Your money's no good here. Like, you can't do this. Are you guys getting that? It's so powerful. And how she shows up here, the same way I'm giving her a hard time of having, tissues in her.
Totally different in the office.
Oh yeah. It's the same person. So the same reason we're attracted to Kim is the reason her employees are attracted to Kim. And like Alonzo said, it's nothing to do with money. And I know you guys pay fair, obviously, because you love your grandkids. Who's gonna not care for people? So you're not trying to screw people, but they're not coming for money. And if someone's gonna pay a nickel more, it's zero. You'll never lose any of the money. Grandma number 2,
or they'll come back if they leave.
And I love their ideas, and they're awesome. But it doesn't always have to be something big. I know Melissa and I had this conversation in the bathroom. Sometimes we notice an employee's going above and beyond, or somebody's giving a report. Hey, do you know they and we're like, oh, that was so great. I'll do a handwritten thank you note with a gift card just to them as just a, not something big. It's not a party or anything, but just a simple, hey, we noticed you. I mean, who doesn't want to be patted on the back or shown appreciated? So,
and it's not that she writes a handwritten note. It's not like people go,
it's in English though. Well, I'm like, well, you have to get your kids
hear that,
to read.
Alonzo? It's who she is that makes her write the note. See what I'm saying? It's not the fact like if everyone's write one handwritten note per week, it's like, sure, would that help? Probably. But be the person that notices your people and just do that. That's the magic. Go ahead.
Well, something interesting about that is, so we give out gift cards, like Walmart gift cards to our employees for Christmas. We figure that's something, if they want to buy food, or gifts, whatever
Presents, yeah.
they can do with it. But very few ever will call up and say thank you. But when I do a handwritten note with the gift card addressed specifically to them, thanking them for whatever they did, we almost always get, hey, call back or maybe speak to our office manager in Spanish, and she comes and she says, oh, they said, thank you so much. They really appreciate it. So we always get feedback from that.
That's the secret, by the way, is recognition will outdo money all the time. And it's free and it feels good. It's not like when I recognize you guys as amazing, I have to lose something and it hurts me, but you win. I feel great recognizing you and you feel great recognizing you. And it's always going to go better than money.
And the funny thing is the Walmart gift cards are a lot more money. So I don't know, but nobody. That's at Christmas. Yeah, it's expected, right?
All right, and then we're going to go, you guys can get your summary, like 1 or 2 minutes of the number one thing you want to tell the group for the whole after Alonzo.
Just flow away, Mike. Come on. Well,
I'm always trying to steal your thunder, buddy.
I read this book, all right, and they talk about like everybody works to pay really good to the employers, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna raise my money so they can stay with me. So the story behind is like you were about to give them money so they can go buy groceries, but they don't worry about to feed them like with appreciation. Help me up here. How do you say? Appreciate it. So just think of that way. Like we always were like, oh, I'm gonna pay really good to them. But what about when they say like you telling them like, oh, you did such a great job. Thank you so much. You feel the wow. And that motivates them more to be around you and want to be hanging out with you and be stuck with you and take care of you back. That makes sense, Mike?
Yeah.
That's anybody?
I got it. Doesn't matter if anyone else got it. I got it, Alonzo. All right. Let's start with Grandma Kim. We'll work our way down just 1 or 2 minutes. You've got people that are committed to their business. They're all in. You guys, we've all spent a lot of time together. What's the best 1 or 2 minute you've got that you think would bring the most value to the group?
I think use your resources around you you don't know what you don't know. So until you're just stuck in something, and the tech part just drove me up the wall, but I would have to reach out and then I would do it more. And Natalie was helping us back then. And she's like, you're going to be teaching this one day. And I'd be like, whatever.
And here she is up front, not teaching tech.
Whatever. But now I can do the ClickFunnels and I can run AppToto and my reminders and Calendly. And I'm like, it may take me a little bit because I'm not in it every day doing it. But when I do it, it's like, okay, I'll be like, Dylan, how do you click on this? Or do it? And it all comes back. And so just reach out to other people that can either remind you on how to do something. I mean, we've got a wealth of knowledge in this community. It's just mind blowing, but just use each other in a good way. Just
And by the way, not to diminish anyone else, but the one of the best givers in this community is, you're probably looking at these guys right here. And 2 of the people that probably have gotten the most out of this community are these people right here. So it's really interesting how when you give and be like, I mean, these guys are great. I mean, they've been on a podcast. I'm sure you guys get called all the time about all sorts of stuff. And that's not their job. That's my job. We get paid to do that stuff, right? They do it because they love it. And it's just funny how the people that give the most to, and not just here, any community, that's who gets the most. So I want you to know the magic of use the community as part of it is how can I serve and give and make David's life better and Megan's life better, and with nothing in return expected, and magically it just happens to work.
What was the question?
Okay, Alonzo.
I would say don't get hung up on the things. One of the things that really stuck out to me, I think in the last one, is don't get hung up on the things you don't know. Take what you do know and take action. We get so stuck and getting in our minds and hanging up, and like kind of like what Denise led to. Everything's going great, but now I feel stuck. Well, just don't overanalyze things. Take action. Some action or action, any action is better than no action. You get stuck, analysis or paralysis by analysis. We get so stuck in that. I think that's one of the things that, especially for anybody that's newer in the program, that's, you're in overload. It's information overload. And even us, been in it 2 years, there's still things. We go back to the modules and like, oh, I've got to implement it. You'll never get there. You'll never have it all. Just, keep plugging away. Just don't get hung up and don't beat yourself up. Focus on the positive. Look at where you've come from and where you've gone, and just focus on that. Don't focus on the negative. Yes. Celebrate.
Celebrate your journey. Celebrate
Yeah, that's one of the things I wish I wouldn't have done is beat myself up along the way as much. Because when we would finally step back and look, it's like, wait a minute, look where we were and look where we are. I mean, it's 3 months, 6 months, wherever, but really, and then in 2 or 3 years, when you look down the road, you're gonna be like, holy cow, look what the community has helped us do and what we've implemented and how we've changed our lives and the people's lives around us. I mean, just really don't get hung up on the negative, focus on the positive. I think the biggest thing that I've learned.
And Pissy Pants Nancy will tell you, oh, all that feel goodery, focus on the good. Well, I got reality to deal with, right? The funny thing is, when not Terry, and not the Viking, Pissy Pants Nancy, she's over there. We hate her. When we believe her lies, it becomes true. We focus. We never got anything. See, this didn't work. Told you. You're like, great. I shot myself in the foot and go, see, it hurts. Like, okay. And when we do focus on and celebrate, magically, it actually, I shouldn't say magically, that's ridiculous, but we get what we focus on. So it's not a matter of, we're just going to try and make ourselves feel good without any real change. Like Denise made a really good point. At some point, there has to be money in the account. So that's why I bring these guys up here. They have money in their account, let's put it that way. So I just want to encourage you guys. This isn't a playing mind games. That was my one thing. That's why I always want to defend it. When I was younger and I'd hear smart people like Tracy give me mindset coaching, I was always like, oh, I'm trying to trick myself into something. And I was like, that's not the truth. They really focus on the positive and celebrate, and they really have positive results. So for all of you Pissy Pants Nancy's out there, and I should say like you as a person, but who have a Pissy Pants Nancy in your mind trying to lie to you, go, yeah, when I focus on what I want and celebrate all the way, the people that are successful are telling me celebrate all the way. I'm just going to do that and you'll get it. But if you're like, that's why I don't like reality Rhonda, no such thing. Because reality Rhonda's like, life sucks, doesn't it? And then that becomes the reality, and reality Rhonda goes, see, I told you so. So just want to encourage you this isn't a tricking of the mind. This is really how we become, I act really positive and we have a lot of fun on the team. And I'm like, I pretended it into existence. I shouldn't say I pretended, because I really am happy all the time. And it became the reality. It continues to be the reality. Alonzo.
That's the question, Mike.
Yeah. He's going to do that to me about 4 more times in the time we got.
Okay, guys. Well, if I remember the question, like Jason said, don't get stuck trying to find a way to go around the issue, because it's always an answer. When you need when you're in a tight spot, it's always going to be an answer. The only answer that you won't have is if you pass away, right? So if any issue that you run into, if you find the resource, look around, find the right people that you can ask. Don't ask to a person around you that doesn't do the same thing that you do, because they might be giving advice differently because they don't do what you're doing, and you don't experience what they experience. Does that make sense? No, all right. So I'm last. So don't get caught up with issues. Just continue swinging forward. I know there's going to be hard times, even though you have all the tools Mike can give you, all that they give us. But if we don't apply it, or we don't, it's not going to be easy. But if you don't keep swinging forward, like Kim say, if you run into some issue, everybody here loves to help each other, because that's Mike, and Mike bring the right people to the core values, and I think everybody will love to help you. Even me, I don't speak English, but hey, I'm here. But just be disciplined. What was my words that I write early? Discipline, commit, and repeat. That's really the secret sauce. Everybody like, what can I do? But if you think it's just be committed, decide it, and repeat every single step that he's teaching us, because everybody's here because we got the results. Now it's up to us if we wanted the results, because it's going to be really hard times.
Well said.
Yeah. So, our niche is actually 65 and up, or 55 and up, but a lot of our customers are like 65, 75, 80. And I'm telling you, like, I feel like I'm always rushing, or I need to get somewhere. I need to be like Mike, or I'm looking at all these people. And I've just learned that if I'm mad or upset or frustrated, it's because I'm focused on something in the past I can't change, or I'm looking at something in the future that hasn't happened yet. And I'm learning to just enjoy the journey, because like all these people that we meet, you know, the biggest stories were their biggest struggles usually. And so if I just learn to appreciate, now I'm kind of excited when I run into something that is a struggle, because I know I'm going to learn something from it. And so, you know, I hear like all these questions about, oh, I'm frustrated at this or I'm frustrated at that. But if I set the expectation that there's going to be issues, there's going to be mistakes, people are going to mess up, my employees aren't going to stay forever. Like I just set all these proper expectations in life that this is just life. Like all this is just life. That's like my biggest takeaway in myself is, hey, enjoy the journey. You know, don't beat yourself up. I think I've heard it a bunch of different ways, but yeah.
I like that. That's it's probably some of the wisest things I've heard you say.
Ditto. I think I'm going a different direction, but so, you know, we're always talking about core values. You know, if our employees are a core values match, don't forget that the clients or customers have to be core values matched too.
That's a mic dropper.
Systems, we talk a lot about systems and the importance of them, and I'm not going to say they're not important, but they're just tools. Don't ignore mindset. Without the correct mindset, oh boy, isn't going to work out good. Anyway, I'll get off the phone.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
He's speaking for both of us. Go, no.
She hits him. That's why he's so scared.
We're so much alike. It's because we spend 24/7 together. Go ahead. No,
I'm
you
done.
finish. No, you say it better than I do. He's better. You're better. No, you say it better than I do. This is
For those of you not live, they're being adorable. I don't know what to tell you.
Anyway, don't forget.
No, the mindset. That's what I was going to say. It's been a huge eye opener for you. Now you finish. Whatever he says.
You just don't ignore that part of it. I'm guilty, my own experience, of thinking she needed a mindset and I didn't. I was really, really wrong. I'm just owning that. So
That's good marriage advice. When we look at our wife and go, oh, listen up, you know, in church or wherever, like, oh, she needs to hear this. That is inevitably means you absolutely need to 1,000%.
So you guys have seen, like, there's no silver bullet here that's like, do this, do this, you're going to be so successful. We've learned really over the last probably 6 months to a year that the mindset is so much more powerful. Like, and the core values are so much more powerful because, you know, many of you know I had a lot of lists and I had a lot of procedures in place, but if you don't have people that are core value matches to follow those and to put those in place, it's not going to happen. So, you know, and then for me is just like the rest of them, just, you got to be your own cheerleader. You know, when something happens, like, you know, there's always going to be a complaint. There's always going to be something that happens. Do everything you can. And if it's something that's repetitively, you know, happening in repetition, you know, build a system to fix it. You know, hopefully you're having core value people to carry it out for you. And then tell yourself that's all I can do, and push forward and be happy. You know, most of you, I guarantee, are probably God-fearing people because you're designed after Mike's avatar that he has in his little area, you know, about, you know, who he wants to serve as a client. And I literally pray every morning for the positivity and to go forward, to be able to serve people and just to have a good day, you know, so because you can beat yourself up hard when stuff happens. So just be positive.
How do you not love Spencer? He's the best. He says that now. Tomorrow we're playing basketball. I have a feeling he'll be throwing bows and
it'll go down.
Positive is going to squish me. So the one encouragement I would give you guys, as long as we're in this group, no one has to, because we know we go back to life and there's pissed off customers and thin checkbooks or whatever the case may be. We don't have to go that alone, but you can be in this group and you can go it alone. You're adult men and women, or you can go, and it's easy, right? I'd rather go, oh, life sucks or I'm struggling. I'll just keep it to myself because I don't want to say, hey guys, I need help. I'm getting my teeth kicked in and it hurts. And, you know, I'd rather go, look how much money I'm making. And we have, you know, in the same month, I could be both people. It's not like I'm lying one time and telling the truth the other. We're all super excited to look at our P&L when everything's great, but when things aren't, we we don't want to look at it. And, we're all like, hey, I got a new account. Everybody all encourage you. That's awesome. I want to do that. But when we lose an account, you can go it alone, or you can go, I just want to share it with people. And sometimes Tracy's not going to fix it. And she might not even have great mindset coaching that day. She might just go, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry. That's all. So I just want to encourage you guys. Again, we can't force ourselves on you, won't, but we're here for you. So no one in this group has to do this by themselves. You sure can choose to, but why? Crazy talk, right? All right. First of all, give these guys a hand. That was... You're getting love from front and back, by the way. These guys back here. All right. So no disrespect to Sylvia, because she's been doing an amazing job. But I feel like you guys are going to lead us into our going into break, whatever. Push-ups, sit-ups, jumping your heads and toes. What? Team MM, what are we doing? How many? What are we doing? Begin. Push, you sons of... How many? You guys got to... Woo! All right, Daisy, you're in charge. Call them out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, make sure everybody gets up. If someone's on the ground, help them up.
Wish you could spend more time having fun and less time with chores? Go to 302beachtalk.com to get $20 off a home cleaning. You'll be entered to win a completely free cleaning. Eat, play, serve. Sponsored by That Guy with a Broom.